Dude, I'm looking at these BH stats here. Joel did go to town.
Yeah, he did, man.
30 and 13. He fouled
Yeah,
out, huh?
that's the first. Yeah, I
Did you
did.
watch the game?
Yeah, I did. Which we'll get to. I mean, we might as well just get right into it then.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
hop right in,
episode
huh?
6. Thanks for tuning in.
Episode 6, Kitchen Hook.
The Kitchen Hook podcast. We love it.
Thank you all.
No, dude, but
The Kitchen Hook.
the only Kitchen Hook. No, I watched it from start to finish, though. I mean, shoot, bro, when that team, wow, West Liberty, wow, that, they're gonna win the
Yeah,
national
they
championship.
obviously I saw. Speaking of, let's just get this. We've made a friend on Twitter, Armac
Mm-hmm.
Insider. I don't
Me
know who
neither.
that is, but um, he or she, I don't know if it, who it is, but posted that West Liberty averaged 100 points a game, and gave up
Mhm.
76 or 77 or something like that. But shout out Armac Insider for that insight into that game. But you watched the game. Talk us through it. What
You
did
know,
it look like?
for like personally, it's just one of those things where like BH has never seen that style of basketball before. Remember Kentucky with Karl Anthony Towns, how it was 5 in, 5 out. I know they didn't full court press,
Yeah,
but they played like that in the first. They play like that until like winning time. You know what I mean? Like once it's winning time, their dudes are in the game, like more or less.
then it's
Yeah,
rotation
but
or yeah,
that
yeah,
first half, man, when it's 5 in, 5, like they have one, two, 6 guys playing 20 minutes, then 2 guys 13 and 14 minutes. Well, granted, one dude had fouled out, and his minutes are probably higher than that, but like, and he had 14 points. Like they were
hmm
just. It was so hard for BH because BH plays a slower style of basketball, like methodically. And they can score.
yeah.
They score 81 points a game, and like they can go, but teams don't press like that. Like this team was face guarding their press and running and jumping in the trap on the first pass, and it really in the
Yeah,
first half it sped them up, and second half they calmed it down. They got their better looks. Like they weren't taking when like you're taking quick shots, like they may be a good one, but they're quick and they're falling into what the other team wants. Like they were doing a lot of that in
yeah,
the first half. Like, oh, I got a
exactly.
3, oh, I got to take this to keep it close. It's like, no, dude, you can pull that out a little bit, work some clock, like make them guard. They don't want to guard. You know what I mean?
Yep, yep. Break them down a little
But
bit for sure.
shout out to Joel though.
So
He's
the thing,
sheesh.
yeah, shout out to all
Yeah,
those guys, man. They
absolutely.
had a heck of a season. Um, the one thing I noticed from West Liberty is, their 4 guys in double figures are all pretty close. 16 from McKinney, 16
Hmm.
from Butler, 13 from Kennedy, 14 from Hines. They're all in that 15-point range. I remember Coach Mountain always said he was like the best team he ever faced was one of the Gillette teams where like they didn't have a crazy high leading score. It was like this guy had 14, he averaged 14 a game, he averaged 13 a game.
That's hard to.
This
It's
next
hard.
guy averaged 12 a game. Like it's just tough. Yeah, it's really tough to game plan for a team
And
like that.
going to what you said, that Bryce Butler kid, he's like I saw the thing is 13th in the nation in scoring per game at 22 points per game. So they did a decent job on him.
Oh, really?
But
Okay, so he can
I think
go.
what helped BH kind of get back into the game too is he did catch a bloody. He caught an elbow from his teammate, and they could not get that thing to stop bleeding. So he was out for a little bit. But BH was still making a run during that. But like you said, dude, I kept telling I'm in a group chat with some of the boys at Western and whatnot, and we talked through all these games with Matt and all this stuff and whatnot because that's what we were doing. And I go, dude, did these guys miss? Like, damn. It just felt like at times there were stretches where
Yeah.
it was like they don't miss, and I mean their field goal percentage was pretty even with BH overall, but like they did not miss.
But first half, that might be
Hmm.
what you were talking about. In that first half, they were 54%, 18 and
Hmm.
33 from the field. that's when you have when you have a team hitting 18 of their 33 shots and a half, it feels like you're getting your
And
butt kicked a little bit for
they
sure.
put one of their better defenders on Matthew, like their best guard defender on Matthew, like with length and stuff. He hit his first shot, which was
Yeah,
tough, his first three, but they just I think they did a good job of like, when he caught it, making him realize like I can't catch and shoot right now, or making him have to think a little bit.
hmm
He got in a rhythm late, but it was one of those things where it was just a little bit too late at the time,
too little,
and the
too
whole
late.
comeback too.
So they went. Yeah, I was just about to ask you. They went down. They went into the half down. Was it
Yeah,
16?
16, and
Yeah, down 16
then
points. What did their comeback look like? How did they kind of chip? Did they chip away at
it,
it, or how'd that look?
yeah, they were chipping. I mean, they came out hot in the first 2 minutes, and then West Liberty hit a couple shots, and then it just felt like it was like for like 10 minutes there, from like the 15-minute mark to the 5-minute mark, it just felt like we get it to 10, and it was like, can't get over this hump. Like we cannot get it down to 8. And then they got it to 7 or 8. Matt hit a 3 and got it to 8, and it was like, okay, you guys got it. We're there. You're making it a game. Get one more stop. They got another stop. Cut it to 6, and it was like, okay, we have a ball game. They ended up cutting it to 3,
Mm,
but it was too late at that point. Ran out of time.
ran
Like
out of time.
as Paul Sather would say, they didn't lose the game. They just ran out of time because
Yep.
put 3 more minutes on the clock. They could have won. Joel doesn't foul out Joel fouled out
Yeah.
late, so that's not. I'm not even going to say that. If Joel didn't have to deal with the foul trouble like he did, and I think that was the first time all year, and like first time ever I've seen him have to deal with a little bit of foul trouble. But they
Yeah.
played well. They managed well. Thompson trusted him. Joel picked up his second with 10 minutes left in the first half, and they interviewed him and they said, "Yeah, so Joel is out on the bench with his second. Who are you looking to step up now?" And he goes, "We're going back to him. Like he's our guy. We have to." Like, and the announcer made a great point. Like you have to in the regular season, maybe okay, hold him for a lot longer, but in the Final Four in the last game, like potentially last, you
Yeah,
have to
man.
keep him in.
Gotta play him. Yeah. Gotta play him.
Oh,
Gotta
he went
trust him.
nuts in the second half.
Gotta go down with your hitters.
His second half was nuts.
So did he score most of his 30 in
I
the
think he
second?
scored 24 of his 30 in the second. Like it was just they got the
Mm.
ball inside and he was just
Wow.
manhandling them, like and ones where the dudes are holding his arm and he's putting the ball up, finishing. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. I just hope like we're talking.
Well, it was good to see
Yeah,
them
shout out to
back.
them, man. You know how cool
Go
it is.
ahead.
Like you were just saying, it's so cool for them to be in the back-to-back Final Fours. Well, you don't do that at D2 level,
Yeah.
even D1.
I was just talking to a parent today. I was telling her a little bit about my background and how Black Hills State was in the Final Four today. And it was just cool to think about, in that moment, like where we came from with Coach Thompson, my senior year, your junior year, um, being our assistant, and now he's leading them to the Final Four. Man, it's just a
Yeah,
beautiful thing.
I mean, I guess I didn't. I always knew Coach Thompson was going to be like the guy when it came to him being leading a program. But like him taking BH to 2 Final Fours in 5 years, that's that's
Come on
give the
now,
man his respect.
come on now.
Give the man his respect. But it's a
He
testament to the
is
guys
getting
it's a
its
testament to the
done.
guys he recruits though too. Like they're bought in 100%.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah. You can tell that they play that way and they understand um, what they're supposed to be doing out there on the floor. And the other thing I would say too is they step up in big moments. Like I can think of a number of moments this year and last year um, where certain guys on their team or their entire team stepped up when it was like it was time, and so it was it's just cool to see that they have that will.
I hope they come back, dude. I straight up.
He's kind of instilled that in
Straight
him.
up, I hope that team comes back. I know Sindhu can't, but like I hope the rest of them do. That team, that group could win a natty. Like straight up, they could win. They have the experience. It's just now they got to get over that Final Four hump, get into the national championship game, and I think they'll be just fine moving forward with that.
Sorry, this parent is blowing my phone up, man.
Gotta love that.
Jeez. Killing me. I just had to say, like, give me 30 minutes. Like, I don't need you to ask me if I'm awake. I'm sorry. Give me 30 minutes.
Why are you
Like, cause I'm working out some of her kids tomorrow and a few other um families' kids, and man, like, just give me a minute.
one of the
Like,
ones
it's
that
all
needs the
right.
details ASAP?
I don't know, man. I don't know what the deal is, but
Oh Lord. No,
killing
shout
me.
out.
Like,
Yeah,
let me
that's
live.
really all I had on beat. I mean, Armac, like we
Yeah,
were saying earlier, man, like there's Armac's a good conference, but I mean, I think this was the best year in a while for the whole conference as a whole, or like just top for having multiple
yeah.
teams in the top 25. But there's other teams out there,
There's
but there's
no
other
doubt
teams
about
out there
that.
that are just unreal. Like that, I never knew about West Liberty until today, and I was like, damn. I literally was like, damn.
Yeah, they were also good. I think it was maybe 3 years ago. Um, they made a nice little run. It was either Sweet 16 or Elite
They
Eight,
made
but
Elite Eight last year. No,
they're in a
they
solid
made it
conference out
last year,
there.
but
Oh, did they? Was
their
it
head
last year?
coach or the head coach for the team that they're playing in the national championship used to coach at West Liberty a couple years ago, I think.
So who won
Nova
that? Who
Nova
won that other game?
Southeastern,
Was it
bro.
Nova
That little guard
Southeastern?
on their
Yeah,
team, pulling up the box score right now. This little guard on their team. What's his name? Dallas Graziani. Holy, he's like 5'9", and that kid he's a lefty. Boy, is he gonna be a good player. Redshirt freshman. Oh my lord,
yeah. He's. Oh, really? He's a
dude.
freshman,
And he's like one of those energy
redshirt
guys too. He
freshman.
made a cutting. He cut through the lane, made a layup. The other team calls a timeout. He's yelling and screaming all the way back to the bench. Like you got to have guys on your team like that.
Yeah, he got energy.
No, they're going to be that national championship game is going to be interesting because, like you said, West Liberty averages 100 and gives up 70. Nova Southeastern they average 102 and give up
It's
76.
about the
This
same.
game's going to be. This
Yeah, it's
game's either
about
going
the
to
same.
be.
It's going to be an
It's going to
interesting
either be
style.
in the low 70s or the high hundreds. Like there's no. It's one of those two.
Well, do you think because obviously both teams like to play at a high pace, which is like probably
Mm-hmm.
forcing turnovers, probably getting extra
Quick shots.
possessions, quick shots. I don't think either team is going to change that for the national
No,
championship game, would you?
absolutely not.
Ooh, it's going to be a gunfight in a national championship game. That'd be
Oh,
fun to
I'm
watch.
gonna have to tune into that. So this was
If Paramount Plus would stop playing around and let me watch on CBS like
that's
they're
weak.
supposed to, I would be able to tune
So
in, but
I just
whatever.
gotta say this real quick because this is gonna blow your mind too. So this team they played this is against an NAIA school in like December, but bro, they beat them. Nova Southeastern beat this team 153-98. They scored 85 points in the first half.
Wow. This says they're 35 and 0. Are
Yep,
they 35 and
35 and
0?
0, 20 and 0 in conference. That oh, so
Oh my goodness.
what was it last? So they're 35 and 0 this year. This is a funny one to. So in the last 2 years, they're 66 and 1. And guess who that lone? Just take a wild
Wow.
guess who that lone loss is to.
I already know.
Nope.
Northwest Missouri State.
BH. BH beat him in
Who?
the Elite Eight last
Really?
year.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
And it was like
Yeah.
one of those things like, what? It won? Because BH was the 8 seed in the Elite Eight, and
That's
they were the
awesome.
1 seed.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. And then Northwest Missouri
Yeah,
State
they
ended up
just,
winning, right?
bro, that.
Winning
I
the whole
mean,
thing.
realistically, you put them in this, if you would have put them in this one, they would have had a chance. Like, I'm putting my money on them if they make the Elite Eight. I'll put my money on them every time until someone proves me to
Yeah, it's
beat
hard
them,
not.
proves me that they can beat them in the Elite Eight. Fine, but
Oh, once they get to
once
Evansville.
Northwest Missouri gets to Evansville, it's like, all right, we've been here many times. This is just another basketball game for us.
Yeah. Yeah, they've been there. Everybody on that roster pretty much has been there before. Let's move to D1, dude. Um, I got a few things I want to talk about, but one of them, just gonna start off with K-State right now. They're kind of the team that has emerged for me that's like this team is legit. They got a legit point guard. They got a legit scoring guard in Keontae Johnson. Oh my goodness, they're fun to watch. And they just beat
Dude had 19
Michigan
assists
State
tonight,
tonight.
20 and 19.
I was just about to say, yeah, NCAA tournament record, 19 assists in a game versus
I wish I
Michigan
could have
State.
watched that game. I wish
Beat
I
them
could have
by
watched that
4.
game.
Yeah.
They're Go
So
ahead.
who's kind of a team that's emerged for you that's like one you maybe didn't expect or wasn't,
UConn.
you kind of had no idea that they were that
UConn.
good. UConn?
I mean, I know they.
Yeah.
So
Who do they
they
play?
play. Who do they play? They play. Oh, they beat Arkansas tonight,
Let me
88 to
look on my
65.
tournament challenge.
So they ran Arkansas,
Oh
and
yeah.
so I was
Love to see that.
going through their schedule earlier. They came out and started 14-0, right? And I mean, they're those 14 wins, 10 or more points, all by 10 or more points. There wasn't one where there was a single digit win.
Mm.
And then they lost 6 of their 8, 6 of 8. They lost 6 of 8. And now they're on just another tear. And it's like, yeah.
UConn did?
And I just, you don't see, I don't know. I just didn't see it. Everyone's picking you.
Is that the thing? Is that the thing with UConn though? Because that they do that where they just kind of go through a slump in the year and then they'll just kind of go on a run in March when it
They're
matters
big though.
most.
Their big man is big. I mean, when
They're
if you look at
monstrous.
teams that win national championships year in and year out, they have a big man that can go. Last year with Kansas, it was McCormick. He was huge, a monster.
Great
I mean,
point.
like you have
Great
in March.
point.
I don't care what it is. You have to have a big man. You have to, and because
Sonogo, this dude was a beast. Adama
yes, he
Sonogo.
averages 17 and 7 on the year, but Lord,
Mm.
they surprised me. They surprised
He's showing
me for
up.
sure. FAU, Florida
Yeah.
Atlantic's kind of surprising to me right now. They're up with 7 minutes left, 48 to 41 against
100%.
Tennessee, which shocks me a little bit. But at the same time, would they be
It's 48
would
to
they
41.
be in that position if FDU wouldn't have beat Purdue?
That's a great question. But FAU, I don't know.
And maybe
that's a
they
tough
could have.
thing to,
Maybe they could because
answer.
they got guards that are nice. Like they're not a bad team. They're
Yeah, they
33
are
and
good.
3. That who was it? Jordan Davis,
Mm-hmm.
I think is the guy. John L. Davis. He's good. He's only a sophomore.
I know.
But they're just a good team. Like they know they got guys that can play, and they're well rounded. Everyone can score a little bit. It's not just one guy that.
You said they're up
48,
right now?
41.
Oh, they are up.
Dude, did you watch that Purdue FDU game? Were you able to? I caught.
Yes, I did.
So I was flipping back and forth
Yes.
because I was at the hotel. I was flipping back and forth between that, and I'm like, at halftime, I'm like, okay, they may have a chance, but I was expecting the one seed, just the
Yeah.
standard one seed second half to just take off, and
Just blow them out of the water.
it never happened. And it got to that point where it was like, oh my God,
Hmm.
keep getting a stop, keep getting a stop. I started cheering for him. I was like, get one more stop. You're still in the game. That was cool.
I did
That was
too.
cool.
Do you find it like so even if it's like it's gonna bust your bracket, when you're gonna see a big upset like that, do
Yes.
you find yourself
Yes.
cheering for it? You
Yes.
do? Yeah, I do
Because it's
too.
like, man, I just like when we get Max on, we're gonna have a talk about this because he has an hour. He doesn't like the 64 teams thing. He wants it less teams because like there 64 teams, about 32 of them don't realistically have a chance. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like I like
Hmm.
seeing now a 16 seed compete. I like seeing that. I like seeing the guys that
Absolutely.
don't get like Tobin Anderson was coaching in front of 100 to 200 people for 23 years and got to play in front of 20,000 people plus a million watching on TV and beat a top four team. Like
And now he got a new
succeeding
job.
Rick Pitino.
He got Yeah,
Like that's cool, man.
exactly.
That's cool.
That is a cool thing. And I think also part of the problem of maybe what I think Max's argument is that's part of the madness. Like they've created this brand of March Madness now to where it's like they don't want to lose that part of it. So even if a team like FDU doesn't have a chance to win the national tournament, that's what gets the clicks nowadays and the views and stuff like that, or the people watching the game is what if this
It's a
team upsets this
moneymaker.
team, or exactly. So I feel like that's my rebuttal
I
to his
don't
argument.
like the first four games, though. I will say that. Personal,
What, so you would just
64
go back
teams.
to
Why?
64?
Because I think that those first four teams have a slight advantage because they're getting a game. I
Why
mean,
would you
they're going to
say
get
that?
a game. They're already, okay, it's tournament. Okay, cool. We've played a tournament game. We won the tournament game. All right, next game. You know what I mean?
I would say some people would argue that's
Yeah.
a disadvantage.
I just look at it from a player side of things. Like it's all like their feet are wet. They just got done playing. They get a day off, and then they
Yeah.
get to go play again against a seed. Like I'm pretty like Pittsburgh won their first four game and then made it to the next round. FDU did the same thing. Arizona State almost did, and then the other 16 seed got smacked. So that was. I don't think,
Yeah.
but
Which that always
and at
happens.
the
There's
same time,
always
like,
one
why
that
does the
gets
16 seed have to play in
flashed.
a playing game? Like, why do those teams have to be the playing teams? Why can't it be like mid or not mid majors, but high majors playing in the playing games? Like, you didn't prove it through the season, show me. But those other teams, they went through and won their conference tournament. They should have. They should get they should
But they're
get
getting a
a
playing game.
guaranteed
Yeah.
like round game, like round of 64, not first four. You know what I mean? The first four
Hmm.
should be like
I like that,
the bubble,
honestly.
more or less.
Yeah, those teams. Yeah, because they do the teams on the bubble, the teams outside the bubble, and all that type of stuff. That's a good point. They might as well just make those on the bubble teams the first four games. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
Okay.
good point. You're a smart guy.
I get told that a lot. What okay, so Furman game. Because I'm looking at our little deal right here. UVA and Furman. Bro, what are
Yep.
you doing, Kihei Clark? What are you doing? I need a thought process.
Isn't he
Fifth year guy.
isn't he a yeah, he's a guy that helped him win a
Mm-hmm.
national championship,
Big
I
min, like
believe.
played high minutes.
Um,
They said because
I don't know,
he's the
man.
one that delivered that pass. He's the one that
Go
delivered
ahead.
the pass to Diakite with like 3 seconds left. Like, so he's a smart player.
Yeah,
Like, as a
exactly.
freshman, he did that. But it was like, what are you doing with 8 seconds left in a timeout in the coffin corner and just You here you go.
Yeah. No, that's certainly a mistake you can't make. Um, I see a little bit what his thought process was of just get it down
Mm-hmm.
there, but it is like, dude, you got to know you got a
Call timeout.
timeout. The other thing I'll play devil's advocate here is, did you see the urgency of the
It
press
was not
break
there.
of like after once the ball
They
was
just
entered
stood.
to him? It was like the dude on the opposite wing had no one guarding him. He could have just flashed up like
Yep.
to the baseline, got the reversal pass, and then been out of there and then ran the clock out. But that was one thing I noticed too, watching the clip, as obviously I was like, why did he just chuck the ball up like that? But the other thing, obviously the coaching side of me was like, what was the middle guy doing with the guy just standing on his back? He was just standing there with the guy guarding him, not moving at all, and then the other guy wide open, not making himself
The
available to the
inbounder made
ball
himself
handler. Like,
he just stood there wide open like, oh, dude, make yourself
exactly,
available.
exactly.
No, I get your point.
So like the coaching side of me, yeah, the coaching side of me was like, man, there were so many other dudes involved in that play that could have helped that dude out. But that back to the madness. That's part of the madness, dude. Like Furman
I knew that
knocking
was
that
going
shot
in.
down to knock
I was
UVA
on
out. I know when stuff like that happens,
I
you know
was
it's
I was
going
on
in,
lunch
dude.
break and I was sitting down on the chair and he turns it over. I stood up. I was like, "Oh no, this is gonna be game." He gets
Yeah,
it and he shot it. I was like, "Cash, cash, bam."
dude, it's the basketball gods just saying you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have done that. Like this is gonna go in now.
That
You like, because I remember there was one time at Black Hills, I think I helped off a dude in the corner, and we were up
uh-huh.
three. Um, and I helped off a dude in the corner, and he just cashed a tray on me, and we went to overtime, and then we got beaten overtime. So it's like that's all too familiar, man.
It it happens. It's basketball. It's why it's why you play the game. I
Yeah,
mean, um
Kihei, sorry, man. Sorry it had to be you.
I don't care. It's Virginia. It's
The
Virginia. I
other
don't really care
one,
for Virginia anyway, so
yeah. So I want to ask you about this. I know you'll have a good take. So Purdue, obviously, they took the L. UVA lost again to another really low seed, and then they were obviously the first one seed to lose to a 16 seed. And someone brought it up. I can't remember where I saw it, but someone brought up like it's these teams that play slower paces and have less possessions and less shot attempts during the game
yep.
are more susceptible, even though they get these high seeds, they're much more susceptible to
Oh,
upsets.
I
What do
agree.
you think
Because how
about
many,
that?
if you think about it, how many Tony Bennett teams have been really good and lost early, like really early, second round?
Yeah,
Um, it's twice now in the first round that they've lost to bad, not I mean not bad teams, but teams they shouldn't have lost to. And like when you
yep,
think about it, so this happened. This happened my senior year at state basketball. We play fast, and in the fourth quarter, we just started passing the ball around because there's no shot clock. Like let's just pass the ball, burn clock. You don't give yourself a chance, and then when you
hmm
do have to shoot it, there's 10 times more pressure of, oh my God, we got limited possessions. We gotta make sure we make our shots or get the best shot possible. Where like these teams like West
yeah,
Liberty, Nova Southeastern, bro, they're going and they're just getting shot. They're playing ball. Like just because it's March doesn't mean like you
yeah,
have to play ball to win these games. And that's why you see the
yeah.
same kind of teams making it super far. Is like I said, you can never trust Virginia, Tennessee, or Purdue in the tournament ever because
And you were spot on with that, dude. You were spot
and
on
Gonzaga,
with
you can't
that.
trust Gonzaga in there. I mean, I know they're good teams, but like
You can't. They're
they
about
play
to lose
when
now.
Gonzaga plays. Max pointed this out to me last year. When Gonzaga plays teams that play defense and get up in your face, they don't know what to do. And
Yep. Because they play in a conference where they dominate
time to
all
move
year
on from the
long.
WCC.
And then I know, man, they gotta play in a conference and be able to recruit to a conference that that is going to get those players that can handle that, where it's like, and they're playing that all year long because to your point, you said it about Black Hills is they hadn't seen that type of style or that type of team in a while. When you are just all of a sudden slapped with that
It's a
style of
shock.
basketball, yeah, exactly. So, if they're playing better competition like that all year long, they might, when they get to that point in the
Yeah.
tournament, they might be a
And
little
I'm
better
not
off.
like we're not dogging BH or any of those teams. It's just like I think it's a style. It's just a style thing at the like you're just saying. It's such a shock factor when you've never seen that before. Like holy hell, what do we do? Like you can't simulate that stuff in practice.
Yeah,
You can't simulate those
yeah.
types of things. Like when for it just being a coach and scouting, like trying to scout certain things, it's impossible to scout certain players' tendencies. You can only scout plays and where they're going to be and stuff like that. You can't tell them like, hey, this is what they normally do. Do that because they're going to still fall back on their tendencies and scout team.
Well, you can tell your players the opposing players' tendencies, but you can't
No.
emulate it. You can't always give it the true look to your
Mm-hmm.
players. You know what I mean? So it's like, because to your point, they're going to go back to what they do. Your scout team might go back to
Yep.
what they naturally do, on the court. So, and I always say this: you can try as hard as you can to make practice as game-like as possible, but there truly is nothing like a
No.
game-like situation. Um, and some players make those plays in those situations, and some don't.
Mm-hmm. Kansas losing shocked me. I had them going.
I had them going
I
far.
thought that they were going to be. I thought they would have been a lot better. I think what killed Kansas this year is they didn't have a true like big dude down low. Like they normally have Azubuike or like an Azubuike or like McCormick
Yeah,
last year, just like that big dude down low. Like this year, it was more of just an athletic, springy big guy, but undersized
yeah.
for D1. Looking at your thing though, Big 12 versus SEC, because I've been talking this a lot with some friends of mine. I thought Big 12 was the conference, the best conference all year, but
I was just about to
right now
bring
it's
that up.
proven that the SEC is like, dude, because I was like they're neck and neck, and to me, I felt like the Big 12 from the SEC was very like top heavy, like the RMAC. You had your top good teams. Alabama, Kentucky
Bama,
wasn't bad.
yeah.
Kentucky was solid. They made a run late. Tennessee was good. Auburn wasn't
Tennessee,
bad. There was other teams. Yes,
Arkansas.
Arkansas. And then Camp Big 12 was like from top to bottom, you could lose. Like Texas Tech finished
Hmm.
really bad in the conference, but they were going neck and neck with Baylor, Kansas, all these top teams. It's just like the ball didn't bounce their way enough.
Right.
But tournament wise, I think
Hmm.
the SEC is kind of showing out personally.
Well, and we had this conversation about the Big 12. I don't remember when it was. It was a while
Uh huh.
ago, of how they were the top conference from what
Mm-hmm.
we could tell, and it was, I don't know, it was maybe midway through the regular season. Um, but yeah, you're 100% correct. The SEC is just figuring out a way to get it done. Like, well, Tennessee's
Arkansas losing and
down,
Tennessee losing right now aren't isn't totally
Arkansas,
helping, but
yeah,
they still. I mean, it's still a good look when the eighth and the 10th place team in the SEC upset a one seed. You know, and
yeah,
like I'm looking at
yeah.
the bracket right now. You got Texas as a Big 12 still in it. Kansas State just won Big 12 still in it. Those are the only two left. Tennessee pulls it out and Bama pulls it out. It's still neck and neck, like two versus two. But I don't know. I still think
Yep.
the
UCLA,
UCLA man,
Pac-12.
they're what's his Cronin, Mick Cronin. I
Mick
love
Cronin,
him, man. He has turned that program around.
he he gets his players to play his
Oh, he's
style
super
for sure.
demanding.
Like yeah. Oh, I just had a thought there. Who did you have
I have
winning? Who did
Houston.
you have
I
winning
have
your
Houston.
tournament?
Yeah,
Are they
Houston.
still in? Yeah,
Just
I
because
have
they put,
Houston
bro,
as
you
well.
defense wins
Um,
in this thing.
they also have players
Yep.
that can score it though too. I was looking at their roster. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I saw they have a couple dudes as well.
Sasser is so good.
Um, yeah,
Sasser
Marcus
averages
Sasser.
16.
But if I'm being honest with you, I'm pulling for him because I stood next to Kelvin Sampson at a recruiting event one time, and he was a super
That's
cool
cool.
dude. So um, we didn't even have like that much of a conversation. We just like exchanged little one-liners a couple times, but he was just a super dope dude, just
Hmm.
going to town on his
That's
popcorn,
how they do it over in those
um,
things.
enjoying some Texas basketball. I think we were
He
down in Dallas.
no, he's got 5 dudes on his team in double figures. So on their averages. So
Again, look
yep.
at what we were talking about earlier,
16,
dude.
11, 10, 10, and 10. And then like
Those are some
and they're
tough.
all
Those
high minute
are
players. Like they're all
yeah,
26 plus minutes up, and then it drops to 15. But even then, these kids are getting 6 and 5 and 4. Like those kids are getting
yeah,
their name in the book too. Like they're good. Um, Princeton, what the hell?
dude. I love it. I love it.
Because
They are just like they'll just dice you up.
I didn't think a Princeton team could score 80 points in a game, man, and they did it against Missouri.
You know who they remind me of? You remember seeing the clips? I don't know if you saw these clips on Twitter. I think it was of Bellarmine,
Hmm.
um, where the ball isn't
Yep.
even touching the floor on some of their possessions. It's just like pass, reversal, reversal,
So
cut,
hard to guard
finish.
that.
Like yeah, and that's what Princeton. I was seeing some clips of Princeton on from a couple of their tournament games on Twitter, and it looked just like it. It was like boom, 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 cut three.
And
Like
so like we
just
were going
dicing
so
teams
kind of
up.
go off on your point too, like how we are seeing like one, I saw something where this NIL thing is going to start bringing more parity to the tournament. We're going to start seeing more of these lower seed teams going further. Um, but I truly think
How does
be
NIL make
just
that
in the
make
transfer
that a
portal, just
thing?
how open everything is. Like let's say
Oh,
someone
gotcha.
you can make some money in these places, right? Like Armando Baycot's $1 million athlete right now, and he's not even a professional yet. So
Yeah.
like, it depends on where you go. And I'm not saying like a guy goes to FD, like we're gonna see 16 seeds winning all the time. But I guess my point is like the blue bloods, they're not gonna be as it's not gonna be as like Duke, Carolina, Kansas, Kentucky. We're not gonna be seeing those four just
I mean,
dominating all
they're
the
all
time.
out.
This is the first
Yeah.
time in I don't remember how many tournaments it was, but that Duke, Kansas, Carolina, and Kentucky were not playing in the Sweet 16. That's and
Yep.
yeah,
There,
at
at
least
least
one of
one of
them.
them. At least one of them was
And
not in the Sweet
like that's
16.
when you think of the NCAA tournament, you think of those 4 teams. You know what I mean? Like those are the four kind of teams you think about. Like, oh, we play Kentucky, damn, or oh, it's
Hmm.
Kansas, damn, they're always around. You know what I mean? So
Who else would you put in that conversation? UConn for me would be
in
one of
the
them. They always seem
yeah,
to be there, like, or at least sniffing that, when
hmm
they do make the tournament. Because obviously UConn isn't
prominent,
like Kansas and Duke and North Carolina where they're
yeah.
always that good. But when they are good and making the tournament, I say they tend to
Michigan State,
sneak
I
in
know
there
they're
as well.
green, but that's still one of those teams. Like, and we're like, since we're
Yeah,
talking like Michigan State,
yeah,
Tom Izzo, he's the NCAA tournament goat because he always takes low seeded teams
hmm,
and gets them far. Like they're a couple shots away from being in the Elite Eight tonight.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, that was one of our points that I brought or that I wanted to talk about. What do you think it is about Izzo that he's when his teams get into the tournament that they're able to make it past that? Because it's usually past that first weekend. You know what I mean? Like making it to that Sweet 16, past those first two rounds. What do you think it is about this
Respect
team?
and trust. They respect that man and they trust him. Because like I remember a couple of years ago,
Mm,
he got on that kid's ass and was like in his face point, like like basically face to face, looking like they wanted to
yep.
square up. And the media made a big deal about it, but the kid came out and was like, "No, that's my guy. Like he's keep holding
Hmm.
me accountable on what I need to do." And I think he's so good at paying
Yeah.
attention to the details and everything about that of what team you give Tom Izzo a day to scout you or a week to scout you, you're in trouble. He's like Andy Reid with
Yeah.
the Chiefs. You give him some time to scout,
Yeah.
you better put your shoes on and lace them up and be ready to go if you're the other team because they're going to give you a war.
Hmm.
And it just sucks that he
Yep.
doesn't have more national championships to him because I like Tom Izzo as a coach. You know what I mean?
How
One,
how many does he have? I was
2000.
thinking about that today.
Last
He
time
has one.
his
Yeah,
national
the
championship is
2000
the
one.
last time a Big Ten school won it. That was 23 years ago. Because I had a take on
Sheesh.
Twitter about
That's
that, but
crazy.
we can get down to that one after this Tom Izzo thing because I'm not a fan of the Big Ten right now. No, but
You're
what
not.
like I no, I was kind of
Why is that?
well. I don't. I just think they're over. I think it's an overrated conference. I think
Oh, this tweet. I
because
see
Clem
this
got
tweet
pissed
that
at
you're
me for
talking
that one
about.
too. He's like, "Bro, come on." And I said, "Well, I mean,
Yeah.
they haven't won a natty for a while. I mean, I get it. Okay, I get that it's good basketball, it's tough basketball, but I just don't. When a Big Ten team is in the tournament, like,
But
what
what's
do I expect for them? Not a whole lot.
the team that you think
And
about is
that's it.
Michigan State for sure. That's the one team. Yeah, like
I
there is no Big Ten teams left,
no
is there?
big
No. UConn's not Big Ten. Gonzaga, UCLA,
Purdue
no
lost,
Big Ten.
Northwestern lost, Indiana lost, Michigan won, Iowa lost, Maryland lost. Now is it Illinois lost?
They're all out.
Illinois, Maryland, Iowa, and Purdue all lost first round games. Northwestern, Indiana lost their second round game.
Clem, T. Bush has receipts, Clem.
Always. And then Michigan State made it the furthest. But I mean, okay, I'm looking at this
Yep.
conference right now. 15-5 from Purdue, and the second place team was 12-8, then 12-8, 11-8, 11-9. Jesus, four teams were 11-9, then 10-10, 10-10. Oh, forgot about Penn State. They made the tournament, lost second round. But I don't know. I just
Yeah.
think the Big Ten gets a little. Sometimes will get some clout love. Like that's, I guess.
What do you so like I think it's because it is, at least from what I think about with the Big Ten, is they do have those big bruisers, those big
Style
monster big
play.
men. Um and they play that slower pace. And so like you look at the way the NBA has moved and just kind of all of basketball has moved, it's pace and
Mm-hmm.
space. Um and so like those teams that don't play that way, yeah, they don't seem to be able to, when they run into a team, especially when they're not able to contain that team that plays a faster pace, they
Yeah.
can't keep up. Um, they all rely on they put so much pressure on their
And
defense.
it's if you're a lower seed playing a team like that, I'm playing with zero pressure, man. Like I have nothing to lose and they have everything to
Exactly.
lose. Like they're the ones that'll be on national
Yep.
television. Oh, we lost, we beat them, and they're a 2 seed. Or what was it? The Princeton Arizona game I was watching, and whoever was calling that game, it was in the middle of the first half, and it was still close. And Princeton was hanging around, and the guy goes, Princeton can keep this a game into the second half. This arena will turn into a home game for them because everyone not wearing
Yep.
Arizona shirt is going to go for Princeton. Same thing with FDU. That place was going crazy for FDU. Like that whole
Yeah,
stadium was chanting FDU. And I was like, he made a great point
I
of that. Like those
know.
lower seeds, if they start getting a little bit of momentum and they're hanging around when it's crunch time, is everyone against the higher seed, honestly.
That is, I mean, we said it at the start of this, like when we're seeing about to see an upset or whatever, like we start cheering for those
Yeah,
lower seeds.
absolutely.
So like we fall right into that. I mean, I know you wanted to talk
No,
about
what did
Mark
you have to
Few.
say? What did you
What
have to
about
say on
him?
Tom Izzo though? I don't. Yeah.
Oh, I think what you said about his players trust him and stuff is 100% true. Like obviously his players have said that, and you can see it in the way they play. But um, obviously, Izzo's known for his rebounding and just his paint presence. His teams always seem to have that paint presence on the defensive end, cleaning up the glass and just defending the ball. And I think that comes into play all the time in the tournament because you're going to run into those teams or those players that can really
Hmm.
really go and or those teams that are really really hot, and the more you can just stay down and keep your head down and be like play that next possession and chip away at it, then the better off you are. And it always seems like his teams are good at that, of just keeping the head down and
Hmm.
working through those deficits or whatever it
I
might
agree.
be. Um, but you never see them, I guess, to summarize it, you never see them
No.
get blown out. Like they're always in the game in the tournament. So they're always within
And that's
striking
just, I think
distance.
that's really the demand from Izzo is effort every play, next play. I really believe that that's his culture
Hmm.
line. Like I want 100% every play, but next play type thing. Like who cares? Like I told some
Yep.
kids that yesterday or the other day. I said I don't care if you miss a layup. What I care about is if you're going to let that affect you 3 plays later, because then it's like well, you're really just going to make
Hmm.
your whole game go downhill, and it's going to be a bad game for you. If you can just focus on,
Yep.
ah, damn, my guy scored. Well, whatever, he's not scoring next time. You're going to be just fine.
Yeah.
You're going to give yourself chances.
And that's like, and that's what it
Oh,
seems
wow.
like these teams that
Uh-huh.
FAU won, huh?
They're going to win. There's 10 seconds left.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
62-55.
Yeah.
Gonzaga's making a comeback.
Oh,
Yeah,
are they? I
they're
hope they
they're
take it
down
up.
one. Nah, I'm on the Gonzaga train right now. Because going into what we were just talking about, Mark
Are you?
Few, 23 tournaments,
Oh, good point.
8 straight Sweet 16s, no national titles. And I don't think it's anything that he's doing wrong. Like I really don't, because he is in the last. I took a picture of this in the last couple years. Do I still have that? The best winning percentage since 2010. They showed this in the BH game. I took a picture while I was on the TV. West Liberty is 406 and 409 in the last 13 years, bro. First off, doing that type of thing at the college level is impressive. 89% win percentage in the last 13 years, but Gonzaga is 424 and 68 since 2009 and 2010. There's no other D1 even close to that.
Mm,
So it's nothing he's doing wrong. It's
yeah,
the conference they're in. I've been saying this to Max for years now. They need to get out of the WCC, and I don't know, like go to the big. I don't know, like go to the Pac-12, and even then, is the Pac-12
it'd be
like it'd be that,
Pac-12 for
but I
sure.
mean, you see Creighton in the Big East, and they're in the middle of the country, and they're traveling all over the country. So, like, what
Yeah,
would it make sense to put them in like the Big 12 or something like that? Big 10? I don't know, but I think I think what's going to help Gonzaga is
well,
they need to start playing better teams for the majority part of their season.
yeah, and that's something we were talking about before. Obviously, just having that team that's battle tested more so when you're going into March. Um, but kind of talking about the conference thing is they're talking about California teams being in the Big 12 and
Hmm.
stuff, aren't they? Like
Who is it?
teams from Arizona and
Let's
California.
see,
So
someone else.
that's
Yeah,
that's not
I
an
think a couple
issue.
teams are.
Yeah,
There's money
exactly.
now that you can
So
make it work. It's really not a
exactly, they'll make it happen. Here's my thing with the Mark Few and not having a national championship or anything like that is he's like you said, he's had the teams and he's put his teams in those positions to get there. It's just a matter of getting it done. Like we all also have to remember like there are many far more coaches that don't have
mm-hmm.
national championships that do have
Yep.
national championships. So like, let's put that in perspective for one, but like Mark Few has put his teams where they need to be. They've just ran into teams that outplayed them in those games because there's been some games, where they're either playing to get into national championships or playing in the national championship game where they got their butts kicked. And then there's been ones where they played really well. They just came up a
Yep.
little bit short. So it's just a matter of getting over that hump. Like players and coaches talk about it all the time. It took us a little bit to get over that hump. Um, they'll get there though. I think if he stays there long enough and puts the teams together like he
Oh, he's there
has,
for life.
they'll
Max
get
was telling
one.
me that.
Yeah,
He's like,
they'll
I was
get
like,
one.
Mark, bring Mark Few to UNC. Bring him to UNC. He goes, he's never leaving Spokane because he's a fisherman, and that's like the best prime spot for fishing. He's built
Yeah,
basically Gonzaga into his thing. Like he's never leaving. That's a lifetime deal right there until he's done.
yeah. Which honestly is a
Yes.
beautiful thing because you don't really see
No.
that in college basketball anymore at any
No.
level, really.
You're always looking for a better opportunity, but I think he's in the best possible spot. He
Yeah,
recruits the right guys. Like the year they played North Carolina in the national championship, they had a really good team. I think they just ran into a Carolina team that was destiny for them. They lost the year before on the buzzer beater. Like
yeah,
that was their year. I mean, sometimes it just the ball bounces that way. It's destiny. Um, and then the
yeah.
COVID year, like they were undefeated. They played Baylor. Baylor completely waxed them out of the gym. That wasn't even close from
Right.
the start. But it was one
Exactly.
of those things where the year prior, Baylor was one of the top teams before that, like a number one seed, same squad, like they were rolling. The next year just seemed like destiny. You know what I mean? Like it's just, I think that, like you said, they've
Yeah.
just caught the wrong teams in the title game where it was, if they were to catch like someone else, they'd be fine. I think it's just he's got to get over the hump.
But I think it's a mix of what you said as well of like they like when they ran into Baylor, they hadn't seen dogs like that all year long, and the dogs were barking that day and they
Those
weren't
dogs
barking
were
back.
barking all
And
tournament.
so, oh my goodness, though that Baylor
I
team was ridiculous.
we
They
were
were
talking about that. We
eating
were talking
people
about
up.
that. I was saying that to Max. We were saying, I was like, bro, let's be real. No one was beating Baylor that year in the tournament. Like they were sitting on everyone, like
Yeah,
clamps, full court, turnover, pull up jumpers, everything.
just everybody arms
That team was
out.
one of the
Yeah,
funnest teams to watch.
ready to guard the
I refed
ball.
a
Yeah, and they
I've
were
refed one
dogs,
team
man.
like that where they just like this last week in this team from Dickinson, bro, best high school defensive team I've ever seen on the ball, moving their feet, hands out, not reaching, like chesting them up. I was like, I told the
Yeah,
coach, I said, what do you teach your guys on ball? Like, what do you guys do? Like, damn.
it's funny when you ref those games because the team that's getting their cookies stolen the
Ow,
whole game,
ow,
they're looking at you like
ow.
what do I? And you're like, my guy, you just got pick
They're
up,
sitting on you
and they're
guys. I'm
like,
sorry.
getting frustrated. Yeah, and they're just like looking at you in desperation.
I
Like,
had one
bro,
kid. He
sorry,
got
buddy. I
pickpocketed 2 times in a row.
This whistle can't help you.
Pickpocketed back-to-back possessions. Second one, head snapped around to me. I was just like, "Hey, we're back on
I
defense."
can't help you, buddy. Like, yeah.
Oh,
I can't help what
that
you're going
sucks.
through right now.
Um, no, I think it's Gonzaga. Personally, I just think it's the conference they're in. They need to. They need to just move him to the Pac-12. Like move him to. They'd see UCLA twice a year.
Because they don't have
Yeah,
football,
that's
man.
true.
Because they don't
That's
have
true.
football.
That makes a lot of sense. Which is just, yeah. Well, Villanova's in the Big East, and their football team is like FBS or like, you know what I mean? They're the second D1 rank.
Yeah, but Gonzaga
That's
doesn't
true.
have football at all.
That's true. Yeah, I don't think they do.
Football, baby.
That's why GCU
All right.
is so like. I think that's what one of their when we were down there, I was standing next to Thompson and Schonbauer when like the AD or something was talking about it. Like they strategically pick sports like the ones that are going to draw in a lot of money for the area and stuff like that. Like they knew football wasn't going to be their thing. They're not going to be able to recruit the same type of talent and beat out Arizona State and Arizona and those schools. So he was just there like, yeah.
No,
and it's more
definitely
money.
not.
Brings more money for that program.
Well, and they're a private school that's like didn't Dan or no Dan Marley was the coach, I believe, for a little bit. I don't think he is now, but well, that's all we got, to be honest with you, for the Old Kitchen Hook podcast today. We got our Houston Cougs. Hopefully they're going to pull off that national championship for the bracket one time.
I was just going to ask, even outside of games, before going into these games, who was your Final Four? I guess like Reese.
Wait, what did you ask me
today? Like today, if you were to look at it, what was your Final Four going into today, regardless of win-loss?
Going into today. Oh, my Final Four was Baylor, Purdue, Houston, Kansas.
Baylor, Purdue. Man, a lot of people picked.
What was yours?
Obviously we got the name of my
Purdue
bracket is
not
beautiful.
Smart,
God bless mine was Alabama, Marquette, Houston, and Kansas. Marquette let me down, man.
Alabama, Marquette.
Kolek let me down.
Kansas hurt a lot of people. Purdue hurt a lot of people.
Arizona hurt me. Bye.
Arizona hurt a lot of people.
What was I gonna say?
But we're still trucking.
My bracket name is beautiful. I know you guys might not like it, but I think it's beautiful. Oh, I'm third? What?
No, it's not, dude. That's the lamest bracket. They weren't even in the tournament.
Still your daddy.
They weren't even in the tournament. You can't be
yes, you can.
the daddy of a team when you're sitting at home watching them.
Yes, we can. We were watching our sons play. Got a nice win in the first round and watched them get their ass beat in the second round. But you
guys were back in Chapel Hill.
Yeah, that was a disappointing season. Shout out Armando Baycott for coming back, man. That made my day. He announced that yesterday. I was so happy. So happy. He gonna take us to the promised land next year. I'm excited for Carolina. Man, screw the tournament. Screw the tournament. Give me November this year. November 2023. I wanna see that.
We know when Bush starts talking nonsense about Carolina, it's time to wrap it
Jesus.
up.
So no. Hey, next time we have a
we want to hear hold on real quick. We want to hear your guys' national champion, and if they're still in.
Yes.
If you feel like participating, if you feel like getting engaged in the conversation, please do.
Absolutely. We enjoy that. I know our buddy Armac Insider gets involved because he retweeted that tweet the other day about Jayton. So I was like, nice. So shout out to the ghost who's running that account. Still haven't figured that one out.
We don't know who you are, but
maybe one day we'll get you on here so you can see the people. We can meet the genius behind this account.
And we can if you still want to be Armac Insider, we can shadow out your face and like do the voiceover, where messes with the voice if you want to still be
Because Matt texted
incognito.
me about when he was going on his rant about Tom Brady. Goes, do you know the Armac Insider guy? I was like, bro, I have no idea, no clue. Don't ask.
Low key, Bush, I thought it
No,
was you.
no, I don't have that much time to break down
I
the
know
film
you
and put the
don't.
film. Like this guy knows what he's doing. This guy would be like a former coach, or you know what I mean, like someone who coached in it before,
Yeah,
or someone who played in it before.
they
Played. He might have played. She might have played.
they do their homework,
Damn
that's
right.
for sure, on some of these things, and we
Yep.
appreciate that. So,
But no, what was it?
but
Apple Podcast, Spotify, and YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe. We're gonna have a
indeed,
special guest next time. A dude that just got done playing some basketball. So we're not gonna tell you the name, but he's been hitting me up, asking me to be on this for a minute. So we'll have a guest that is a fan favorite in and where he goes. I'll just say that. So it'll be fun. It will be
mm,
fun. But other than that, that's all I got.
we'll save that for later. We'll save that for
Absolutely.
later.
Absolutely.
All right, people.
Yep.
Appreciate you. Kitchen Hook Podcast.
Peace.
We're out.